Hey everyone, we're going to wrap up this week, kind of re-summarizing this idea of the three main needs that all humans have and how different Enneagram numbers tend to be kind of more unbalanced in one direction than the other, and what that can even look like in family systems and relationships practically. So, if you watch the videos, we talked about the need for autonomy and the need for bonding and the need for certainty, and this idea that all humans have all those. We are all acting on those needs. However, some of us, Enneagram numbers 8, 9s, and 1s, tend to be acting more strongly or feel a deeper need for autonomy than the other numbers. Enneagram numbers 2, 3, and 4 tend to have a deeper need for bonding or relational connection. And then Enneagram numbers 5, 6, and 7 have a higher need for certainty. And in relationships, especially when I see families as a therapist or couples as a therapist, I find that this can create issues if there's not awareness around it. Because when we are in our center, it feels as if that need is the most important thing, not just for us, but for everybody else. It can be hard to see outside of our own lens for that specific need. And so it can, I like the phrase, we sort of almost create a morality around it. Like, it's best to need autonomy. We should need autonomy. People should need autonomy, as said by an 8, 9, or 1. Or 2s, 3s, and 4s might say we need relationships. That's what life is all about. That's the most important thing. Or 5, 6, and 7 talking about certainty and truth, and we need to know what's real and true and accurate. And those things feel very important to each number. But when you're in a relationship with somebody from a different center, it can be kind of jarring to people, to be honest. So, for example, sometimes I see when I see heart types, there's such a need for connection with their partners. There's a need for being together and sharing emotions with each other and feeling a sense of connection. Whereas if you have somebody who's a heart type in a relationship with a head type, a lot of times the head type might not feel that same need. They might not feel that kind of instinctual, deeply rooted, grooved in part of their personality that says we need bonding. I need bonding more than anything else. They're over in the certainty area. So you can imagine what kind of issues that may cause. And may cause complaints from each side on different things, like you're too needy or you're too clingy from one side, or you're too distant, or you're too, not connected. I don't feel connected to you. Whereas, and then the head type person might say, well, why is that so important? Usually it's not communicated that directly at first with people. Usually it comes out sort of objectively in arguments or frustration or not talking to one another or not connecting or it can come out in lots of different ways. And so body types in relationships can be very stubborn, can be very my way or the highway kind of thing. They can be very inflexible in how they are. And they each do it in their own ways, which can be confusing for other numbers who don't have such a need for autonomy, who don't need to kind of have this sense of nobody can tell me what to do. I'm my own person. Which can create disconnect as well in the heart and head types. Head types in relationships, they sometimes can come off as, not all the time, obviously, different people are going to look different, different subtypes are going to look different, but as a whole, head types can often come off as aloof or cold, maybe even. Some 6s and 7s don't look that way at all, but there can be a focus on truth and knowing. There can also be like a scatteredness in 5, 6, and 7, this sort of ungrounded sense that I've learned that body types can get frustrated with a lot. Body types can be so practical. And so, since there's a need for autonomy, there's this lifelong practice of figuring things out on my own and taking care of it and getting done what needs to be done. And sometimes when a body type is in a relationship with a head type, who the more anxious they get, the more scattered and ungrounded and unpractical they get. Sometimes that can be a beautiful thing in a relationship. The head type can give the body type can give the head type some stability and groundedness. Or it can turn not great, and it can turn into passive aggressiveness or stubbornness or refusal to see each other. But something that body types can bring to other relationships with other numbers. It definitely is a sense of groundedness and practicality. And heart types, one of the great things that they can bring to relationships is a sense of warmth and connection. And it can be so nice to be connected to with a heart type. Heart types will laser focus in on you, and it can feel like they are there with you in the moment in a way that other numbers just don't do very well, or you don't feel that very well with them. And in head types, in relationships, they can be very there can be a lot of wisdom. There can be a lot of humor in head types. There can be a lot of safety provided by head types in relationship, because there's such a need for safety themselves. People can tend to feel very safe around head types, depending on the head type. So I think the applications of this are huge, endless, likely. And this is the kind of thing that I bring up with people when I talk to them through therapy, whether that's with couples or families. And this is also the big thing that I bring up when I speak to corporations, when I speak to groups of people about the Enneagram and how it can help, help people get along and work well together. Because these head, heart, and body, we all have that in us, but when we become unbalanced, we're looking at the world and moving through the world and taking in things around the world, from the world, that are just so different from other people in different types. And without understanding that, it can really cause a lot of frustration and a lot of stuckness with people and with relationships, which is why I think the Enneagram is such a fantastic tool. And this is even just talking about just the centers for now. There's so many more applications, which is why I love the Enneagram with what I do. I think it's a fantastic tool to help others connect to themselves and to each other in better ways and in more compassionate ways. All right, so let's look forward to next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about the directions of a tendency, and I'm excited about that topic because this is a topic that hardly anybody talks about around the Enneagram. And my 6 contrarian heart really loves talking about things that other people aren't talking about. So this is a fun concept, and so I hope you tune in next week to talk with me about this.